And hello everybody, welcome to another Pokésaur video, probably the first one in a while. In this video, we will be covering a Chinese sauropod to celebrate this Lunar New Year's animal, the dragon, Xinjiangtitan. I just hope I'm pronouncing the animal's name correctly. Henry the Paleo guy pronounces it as Xinjiangtitan, while I Know Dino pronounces it as Xinjiangtitan. I'm just gonna pronounce it as Xinjiangtitan, but if anyone knows the official pronunciation, please let me know down in the comments, or you can at me in a video on here, or Twitter, or Facebook, or whatever. Also, apologies for the numerous mispronunciations I'm likely going to do in this video. Speaking of said video, let's start, because I'm sure most of you probably skipped this. So why am I saying that? Why am I transitioning? I don't know. Let's go. In 2012, an expedition was carried out by Jilin University, Shenyang Normal University, and the Xinjiang Geological Survey Institute, where a fossil specimen of Xinjiangtitan was found in a quarry 8 kilometers or 5 miles from CUTAWAYS, Xinjiang. This specimen, the only known specimen, is an incomplete skeleton that was recovered from the CUTAWAYS formation. It consists of one of the most complete vertebral columns of a sauropod found in Asia, and the longest complete neck of any known animal, along with the nearly complete neck and tail bones. A partial skull, partial pelvis, and most of a hind limb were also found. Before the animal was fully excavated, it was described as a new genus and species of sauropod by Wu Wenhao, Zhao Changfu, Oliver Wings, Dou Sekia, and Dong Jiming in 2013. The species name derives from an alternative name of the country of its discovery, Xinjiang, named after the Xinjiang Kingdom. This name is occasionally misspelled as Xinjianensis or Xinjianensis. However, the former of those misspellings would have likely been correct, as the Latin suffix ensis means from, so the species name would mean from Xinjiang.
Did we really need to know that?
Hey, some people might like to know this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the dinosaur now, which isn't actually much. So, hold on, and that goes for you too. The neck had 18 vertebrae and is nearly 15 meters or 50 feet long. The neck may have been longer than what we can tell from the fossil, as we can only guess how wide the gaps are between each vertebra. So how could it have held up this very long neck? Well, it's because said neck wasn't very dense and had a system of air sacs, an adaptation many other long-necked sauropods likely had. In 2016, Gregory S. Poole made an estimated total body length of 30 meters or 100 feet and weight of 40 tons or 44 short tons. However, in 2020, Molina, Perret, and Laramendi gave a lower estimate of being 27 meters tall.
And what about its weight?
Sorry bud, I got nothing.
Yeah, humans are lazy.
Yeah, I can agree to an extent. Xinjiangtitan is a close relative to a group of dinosaurs called Mamenchisaurs, including, you guessed it, Mamenchisaurus. It also shares characteristics with Diplodocids, including relatively short hind limbs. See, I told you wasn't a lot left.
I bet half the audience are either asleep or clicked off the video.
I really hope that isn't true. Anyhow, as I have said, Xinjiangtitan is an animal I have chosen as the subject to celebrate this year's Chinese New Year's animal, the dragon. I believe I was influenced by a community poll I once made, asking what animal would most represent a Chinese dragon, and they said Mamenchisaurus. I didn't want to just go with that genus, especially since it's a main exclusive animal. So, I went with this. The long neck definitely would work well with something serpentine, and it's from China, which I hope is self-explanatory. Anyhow, let's see what this long-necked Chinese sauropod would look like as Pokémon. Nicknamed the Mythical Berry, Yuzi are extremely timid Pokémon that are rarely seen. It is said to grant immortality to those who eat its flesh, but will also be cursed to slowly turn into a tree. This little guy is Yuzi. It's simply a little dragon fruit / peach Pokémon that's much like a mythical Pokémon, but isn't yet. Also, who would be demented enough to eat this little guy?
You, probably.
Well, I mean, yeah, dragon fruit is on my to-eat list, but not the Pokemon kind. Also, I don't want to become a tree. That just sounds scary and boring. For stats, Yuzi is rounded but very weak. For its abilities, we have Chlorophyll for speed, Sweet Veil for wannabe amnesiacs, and Harvest for a tanky set. Now, you might recognize the silhouette of what Yuzi is going to evolve into, so let's see what it is. Oh, you probably already guessed. It is no surprise why this Pokémon often gets compared to Tropius, with similar proportions, typing, and even having fruit on its neck. This is understandable. However, this Pokémon has descended from a completely different lineage. Yeah, I made a convergent form of Tropius. But it does fit really well, especially when I looked up peaches and pine trees for this design. While Tropius was my base, I did add a lot of details to make Tropius differentiate itself, such as spiked plates on its back and armored adornments on its chest and head. Let me know if it's a bit too similar. For stats, Tropius is slightly more powerful than Tropius with an extra 20 base stat total, which is spread for a bulkier setup. For its abilities, they're all the same except Solar Power, which would complement it well when paired up with Synthesis and Leech Seed in its moveset. Overall, it can be pretty strong, especially with its Dragon typing. And now, let's go higher up the tree. Known as the Spirit of the Forest, Ruzditang nurtures the weak with protection and nourishment from the numerous berries on its neck. These berries said to strengthen those who eat them. However, if anyone would take the fruit by force, they would have to face its titanic wrath. Oh my gosh, this thing is tall. This is the mythical Pokemon Ruzditang. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. It was originally going to be Ruxtitang, or Wuxitang, but I like to carry on the XZ thing, if you know what I mean. Yes, I did go a bit crazy with the berries on the neck, but considering how some restorations of sauropods have these brightly coloured neck sacs, I thought this would be a fun idea, especially as a long berry beard. I'll admit I can't say if it looks like a mythical Pokemon or not, or if it's different enough from Tropius as an evolution. Still, I'm happy with this design. For stats, as you may have expected, Ruzditang is a tank that leans more towards being specially orientated. For its ability, yes, only one as it's a mythical, we have a fun ability called Glucose Cycle. Now, this ability only affects moves that have their effects around sunlight, so don't worry about water moves being weakened. Yes, Ruzditang can learn water-type moves. I know there's only one, but I was looking at another Pokemon as a reference when putting together these moves. This is quite a diverse set for this Pokemon, especially those that benefit from Glucose Cycle, like Moonblast, Growth, and Solar Beam. Another move that benefits from the ability is a new move called Dragon's Fruit. It is quite powerful on its own, but is plain brutal when used in harsh sunlight. Or, in the case of Glucose Cycle, it is just a brutal power boost. Obviously, Ruzditang is going to be a tough Pokemon to take down, so fast Pokemon, like Speed Form Deoxys and Zeraora, or the bulkier, like Diancie, won't be useful. To take this mythical Pokemon down, you will need raw power, which Pokemon like Garchomp, Landorus Therian, and Tyranitar all offer, especially on the physical end. The worst Pokemon Ruzditang would struggle against would be Goodra with Sap Zipper, making most of its grass moves useless, and Baxcalibur with access to moves that are the same type as Ruzditang's quad weakness, Ice. This is further accentuated with Stab. Other counters could include taking advantage of its weight with Seismic Toss, or whittling it down with Toxic and other status moves. Of course, if you decide to terrestrialize this Pokemon, I suggest Steel and Water for both a power boost and resistance to ice moves. Fire would be better suited as a defensive option. Now, if you look at the evolution part of the bio, you see the Gigantamax bit. So, let's... And...
How does Tropius evolve into Wuxtitang?
Ah, that is a good question. Well, you use this.
That's just a yellow moonstone.
Well, yes. But to be specific, it's an enchanted moonstone, or what I prefer to call it, the Lunar Stone. Basically, it's just an idea of how to make this a mythical Pokemon and not just a pseudo-legendary. If this was in the game, you can only get one of these stones.
Really? That's actually clever, dude.
Thanks. I mean, I do try, just need to figure out how you would obtain it. Anyway, as I was saying, you saw the pink X there? Let's see Ruzditang's Gigantamax form. In its Gigantamax state, Rusitang can instill fear with its size alone. But for those who still challenge it, they will face a Pokemon known for their mystical resilience, now powered by the omnipotent Dynamax energy that reside in its billions of berries. Can you hear me? Good. As I was saying, Rusitang wasn't titanic enough, it seems. Now Gigantamaxed into what I hope no one would compare to a popular seasonal tree, Rusitang takes form of an ancient dragon deity with massive berry whiskers and billions of berries as decor. Now, as you may know, Gigantamax doesn't affect stats, except doubling its HP and ability.
Double it then.
Okay. As I was saying, its ability remains the same. Of course, it does gain a unique Gigantamax move called G-Max Lunar Forest. Like other Max and G-Max moves, its power varies but gains the additional effects of setting up a grassy terrain, a 50-50 chance to heal a quarter of it and their allies' health, and raising both defensive stats by one stage. What makes this move unique is if the move selected was Dragon's Fruit in the Pokemon's non-Kaiju state, it will be like Max Guard except with the added benefit of health restoration odds, health restored, and the stat increase all being doubled. Against other Gigantamax Pokemon, Rusitang would struggle against Butterfree, Gengar, Lapras, Garbodor, Corviknight, Toxtricity, Orbeetle, and Centiskorch in terms of type effectiveness. Snorlax and Lapras, the latter who would be weak to Rusitang's grass moves, are incredibly bulky. Overall, Rusitang is certainly a titanic tank, but its walls can be broken down with enough force or an Ice Age. And here are their shinies. For Yuzi, I went for a warm blue with, I think that's sepia on the accents, or maybe it's like a dark straw hay colour. Trozius has cooler colours, referring back to Yuzi. Rusitang is similar, but its berries are brighter blue. Same for its Gigantamax form. To be honest, I feel these designs were a little bit rushed, but I'm happy with these designs overall. But what do you guys think? Should I revisit them someday? You know where to comment. Oh yeah, almost forgot. When designing Trozius, there was a bit of an interruption, which cost me about an hour's worth of progress. If I remember correctly, it was due to a power outage, but I can't be certain because my memory is very bad. Anyhow, thank you so much to my patrons for their support, as usual. If you guys want to support me, minimum cost is £1. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, and don't forget to click that bronzong. And if you want to follow me on my other socials, you can find those down in the comments below. I mean, description, what am I talking about? And what life form would you like to see in this series? Preferably something extinct. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching this video. In the past, present, or even future, I will see you there. Goodbye!
I'd like to be a tree.